spent this morning has spent some time in Kansas. He lived on a farm. Now he resides in a great city. He is not weak, runs faster than you would think, and can jump higher than a building, due to the fact that buildings don't jump. Welcome our hero of the day, Adam Potter, as he comes to share his speech entitled Superhuman. Adam?
Thank you very much. I would like to start out with an excerpt about the mythology of a superhero from a random source, Kill Bill. Now, it's a little lengthy, but I believe it will make you genial today. I'm quite keen on comic books, especially the ones about superheroes. I find the whole mythology surrounding superheroes fascinating. Take my favorite superhero, Superman. Not a great comic book, not particularly well drawn, but the mythology. The mythology is not only great, it's unique. Now, a staple in the superhero mythology is that there is a superhero and there's an alter ego. There's Batman and there's Bruce Wayne. Spider-Man is actually Peter Parker. When the character wakes up in the morning, he's Peter Parker. When he puts on the costume, and then he becomes Spider-Man. And it is in that characteristic that Superman stands alone. Superman didn't become Superman. Superman was born Superman. When Superman wakes up in the morning, he's Superman. His alter ego is Clark Kent. His outfit with the big red S, that was actually a blanket that he was wrapped in when he was a baby when the Kents found him. Those are his clothes. When Kent wears glasses and the business suit, that's his costume. The costume Superman wears to blend in with us, Clark Kent is how Superman views us. And what are the characteristics of Clark Kent? He's weak, he's unsure of himself, he's a coward. That Clark Kent is Superman's critique on the whole human race. I want to change that. I believe that we all have the right, just like Superman, to become superhuman. We're all born with this fact. By the end of my speech, I hope that you will understand that you were born superhuman with the ability to become great by utilizing your gifts at helping others at any moment. The first point I would like to make is that you were born with equality to Superman. Did you know that Superman was not born with any special powers, and he didn't realize he had any special powers until he was about 3 years old? So, as far as Jonathan and Martha Kent could actually realize, they found a normal human baby that just happened to have been wrapped in a red blanket, that was just happened to have been in a cornfield near their home in Smallville, Kansas, that just happened to have been next to a spaceship, that just happened to have been right after a meteor shower, that the meteors just happened to have been made by some compound that's not found on Earth. But other than that, that was a normal child, okay? And so he was a normal baby with everything in front of him, just like how you were brought into this earth. To prove my point, let me ask you to imagine yourself in two different situations and decide which one you'd rather be. Would you rather be born to a woman who has 8 kids already, 3 who were deaf, 2 who were blind, 1 who was mentally retarded, and she had syphilis? Or the second situation, born as a 4th child, all of your siblings were models, into a good Christian family that had the ability to homeschool you because you excelled in mathematics and sciences. Obviously, all of us would probably much rather pick the latter of the two. The first scenario is actually Beethoven's story. The second scenario is actually Lindsay Lohan's story. So put yourself in that position on how you would like to be remembered and the trials that they had to go through. Superman was in a situation somewhere in between. His biological father was actually in the middle of the complete destruction of his entire planet. And Clark was adopted here on Earth. Did you know that there is 14% of all serial killers are adoptees? And adoptees only make up 2.5% of the overall population. That means that Clark Kent or Superman had statistically the probability that he could have been a serial killer, and a really good one at that. So, but he didn't. And I believe that we all had the same opportunities that he has. The second point I would like to make is that the suit and tie does not define who you are, just as the suit and glasses fail in comparison from Clark Kent to Superman. I believe that we have a duality in our mythology as a culture. Sometimes we practice the suit and tie with such pointedness that we misplace the fact that we were born as superhuman and not super worker. As a working adult can be gone from the home 40 to 56 hours on average a week for a job. Adults living in the household with children under the age of 6 only spend an average of 2 hours a day with those children. An even more staggering statistic is that the households with the youngest child between the ages of 6 and 17 only spend an average of 47 minutes a day with their children. That's up to 56 hours a week on average spend doing your job versus maybe 7 hours a week spending with your children. I'll go even farther to say that our kryptonite is in fact our suit and tie. If you were surrounded by the suit and tie and that's all you had, you would end up suffocating yourself. Make sure that you give time to show your gifts to the people in your world that may benefit. Sure, Clark worked every day, but he even found a few minutes to escape the pressures of the work office to give his gifts to other people. What if you took 10 minutes today to write a handwritten letter to your spouse? Or maybe took the 10 minutes to write on your son or daughter's Facebook wall about how smart you think they are? Would you not be improving your world, your metropolis? You can be a superhero to someone. I'm hoping that now you understand that you were born with superhuman traits. You were born with the ability to over time become great and utilizing your gifts at any moment. So tomorrow when you wake up, say these words to yourself: I am superhuman. In fact, let's start our day out today like that. On the count of 3, we'll say superhuman. I am superhuman. 1, 2, 3.
I am superhuman.
Thank you.
Be sure and write a note to Adam. And while you're doing that, I'm going to ask